Marty.
Jacob,
What's
rave
up,
culture
man? Rave
got
culture,
me.
guys. What was
I
that?
know, I know, man. You finally got me out here. I've been like ducking you a little bit.
Nah,
Not
you
really,
haven't
not
been
really
ducking
ducking. I've
me.
just been busy. Work came up, things. But yeah, we're out here now.
I get the
It's a
life.
glue. Yeah, it's a gloomy day here in South Florida. It's about to pour again. So,
That's the
oh,
life of South Florida come summertime, bro. It's just rains every afternoon. There ain't no way of
ever,
stopping it, man. Ain't
no
no way of
way.
stopping it. When I lived there, when I went to FAU for that semester,
Well, that's right. You did go to FAU.
every fucking day at 3 to 4, it was raining,
Pouring,
dude. And then if it
pouring.
just was enough in the air, it would be the rest of the night, dude.
Yeah. And the thing is, like, our office is like right in front of a canal because I can see it. And like, if it rains hard enough, it's just gonna flood. Like, it'll like literally be coming over. It gets like sometimes I'm like, I'm gonna get stuck here all night. But we got a futon here, so if we need to spend the night, we'll spend the night. Man, we got a shower, we got a futon. Life is good, man. We even got a gym. So man, this is like a one. We got a kitchen too. So like, I actually was, believe it or not, I actually was living here when I first moved here, or when I first started, because I dropped everything so fast. Some G shit. When I dropped everything so fast. I came here. I didn't even look for a place to live because Alex was telling me, he's like, look, man, we got a shower, we got a kitchen, we got a futon. Like, dude, you said enough. I'm literally living at the office if it's cool with you. He's like, so you find a place, it can't be long term. I'm like, don't worry, man, I'll get out of there. So yeah, like the first 2 months, 3 months, I was actually living here, showering here. Like I literally the cubbies that I have like right there, that actually used to be my closet. Like now it's for office stuff. Like that literally used to be like my closet. It was like underwear, socks, and all that. And then like I bought like a makeshift hanger and I hung like my dress shirts and dress pants up in there. So yeah. Um, I was literally living here, and then some of the other developers as well, because they'd literally be coding all like they code from like 6 p.m. to like 9 p.m. at night. So just code 24/7. And bye Claudia, take it easy. Yeah, they just be coding all day. They're like, yeah, I'm just too tired to go home, and just there's like 2 or 3 of us actually sleeping here at one point. So it was pretty fun. I liked it. Like startup life, I guess, man.
Humble
Like it was just like you
beginnings,
could,
man. Humble beginnings.
yeah, like you could do stuff like this. That's the thing is like because as you start to build and expand, it's got to become like HR comes into play, professionalism, and you got to do things by the book. So if if any entrepreneurs are out there or any people looking to start a business, enjoy the first years of your business because like you can like we could just like I could do whatever I want right now if I really
Yeah.
wanted to. Like I could pull up at 7 a.m., do a little bit of work and leave by 10 and nobody's gonna say anything. But obviously I don't abuse that. I actually want to stay here. But yeah, startup life is it's hard though because that's one aspect of it, the freedom and the fun you're gonna have. And then the complete other aspect is like it's super volatile, right? Like
Exactly.
your business can go under. So like obviously I'm in sales, so I'm like the life force and the lifeblood of the company, right? Like if I don't make the company money, then we're gonna go under, right? We can't make payroll. Thankfully, we have reserves and stuff like that. So things do kind of hit the fan, we'll be okay. But that's a double-edged sword, and there's a lot of requirement and responsibility on my end. Like, hey, like, we're giving you all this, but this has to be met, or you have to do this. So trust me, there's times it's stressful. Obviously when the market takes a dip, it's not fun, right? That's when we're like, all right, people are going to be pretty hesitant. Like, how are we going to, how are we going to overcome that, objection? Like, yeah, I'm just going to wait it out. Like, hey, this is the time to get in. So, but it's fun, man. It's definitely fun.
Yeah, I mean, you hit it right on the nose though. That startup life it's not for everybody. I mean, it's something that a lot of people kind of look over. They see these people that make all these millions and billions of dollars from startups, and they're like, oh, like it's so unfair and yada yada. But it's like, are you willing to put up with the fact that one day you're living large and next year, like you said, on a futon? Like you just have no
Yeah.
idea what's gonna happen, and all you can do is
No
put
idea.
your hard work and effort into it, and usually you come out on top. I mean, I think with most things, you work hard. The
Hmm.
universe kind of rewards that hard work, given you're not, being shady, I guess.
Well, I mean, even like Elon Musk, like he's got Tesla and SpaceX, and he even says like he has like a specific couch in his office he just like sleeps on, and like he's literally officially today he just overtook being the richest person in the world, like at $200 billion, and the guy still sleeps in his office. Now
Wow.
that's obviously where it's like this guy's so dedicated to his craft that he's just laser focused. But yeah, it takes a certain type of mindset in person to like if I were to tell this to a random person on the street, like, why are you doing this? Like, you don't have a house. It's
Yeah.
like, it's it's a hard thing to grasp, but
it's the high risk, high reward life. I mean,
yeah,
that's what it comes down to. We want to simplify it in little terms, but like that's what
yeah,
it is. And some people don't have the tolerance for that much risk, and that's why
yeah.
you do take those jumps, you take those leaps, they get rewarded with bigger outcomes. I mean, it's
Oh yeah,
impressive. Happy for you, you know?
yeah. No, thank you, man. And it's just like it's a corny thing and cheesy thing to say, but like we're gonna die one day. Like you're gonna die, and the last thing you're gonna be thinking about is, why, why did I per se play it safer? Why did I sleep in an office? Like you're not gonna be thinking about that. You're gonna be around, like I want to be around the people that I love and the people that love me, spend the time of, with them, and that's it. You're not gonna be thinking about all the BS that happened in your early 20s, right? Because you're gonna be like 80 or 90 years old. So again, I know it's a corny thing to say, but it's true. Like you're literally gonna die one day, and are all the haters on your, podcast, the comments, the keyboard warriors, are they going to matter? Hell no. Like it's going to be
No.
completely irrelevant, and if you fail, great. Now, what's really cool, and they say is, things go under and you fail. It's just the next time that you start, you're starting with experience. So you're not going to make the same mistake again. So it's actually just kind of propelling you to the next thing you start. You're going to start it way better than when you did it the first time, right? So
Yeah, man, no doubt. I mean, it's beautiful, like the things you could learn from just like even the mistakes you make, bro. It's like I can remember like in just early college and stuff, just some of the things we did to try to make money, which is downright stupid. And it's like, all right, well, I kind of learned this and like that. Like we had this decal company we came up with, me and two friends,
yeah,
called this is back when I drove a truck, so it was called Truck Militia, dude. And we
check
like did
militia.
this thing, and I took over like the Instagrams and like I did the social stuff for that. And company was just not, we had no idea what we were doing. We were 18 years old. We
Yeah,
had no idea. Even with trying to look up stuff, and like it just wasn't the right idea, right? But taking that away, found out I like doing social media stuff, started honing in on that, learning some new things, and now I've got a job with another company doing that. And like in my
mm-hmm.
next goal was like, all right, I'm gonna take a little piece of what this company's giving me, a little slice that they're giving me, little things I learned.
Yeah,
And I'm gonna go do my own thing, hopefully in the next couple of years. So that's like the goal. It's like one after another, you just baby steps, so you get to those big things you want to do. And
yeah.
it's nice, but it's exciting.
And that's what's, piggyback on what you said, like the big thing that we really try to, not just only crypto, but the big thing that we just try to really get out there is the aspect of social currency, right? So like what you're doing right now, what I'm doing right now, and everybody else you get on TikTok or on your podcast, you're creating a social value to yourself, because as we're progressing right now, where social media is going, it's really going to come down to, who has the most influence, right? Who has a big following, and that's what companies are going to start to look for in terms of like marketing and like a sales side.
Yeah, no
It's
doubt.
really it's really going to start to shift away from can you make the sale to how much influence do they have, where we can use their influence to get a bigger outreach. Um, like you're at X amount of followers right now. You grow that to 10 or 20,000. Whatever happens with the podcast is you're still going to have that group of 20,000 people that are following you. And then if you wanted to branch off into something else, like, hey guys, I'm starting to do marketing for this company, well, you just brought that company potential customers, right? Or potential subscribers, whatever it is. So that's what's going to bring a lot of value to yourself, right? So you can actually use that as leverage in a way to have yourself stand out from applicants per se. So like I said, I wasn't really that big on socials. I was like, I'm just going to keep it kind of private. Nobody needs to see my life. And then Alex obviously helped me look at it a different way. He's like, if anything, you should actually be showing your life. And Gary Vee even says the same thing. He's like, look, if you guys are not documenting your life right now, like that's, you guys are messing up, because it's not only just for you. It's, think about like, when you have kids, like your kids can literally go back and look at your social life. They can see the whole entire transition you had. Like, oh, like my dad was doing this in his 20s, and in his 30s, he was flipping stuff at garage sales, and in his 40s, he was in a multi-billion, Gary Vee. But it's also, yeah, like I said, it's a way to kind of track what you're doing in life, and then just make yourself stand out more compared to the cream of the crop. Because think about all these other companies, they're getting all these emails through their LinkedIn's, like, this is why I'm a great applicant, this or that, and it's very like cookie cutter. Like it's the same thing. Some people will throw in, well, I'm an immigrant, or I'm this, and I was this and that, and then but what are they actually going to provide to the company besides being an employee and a worker? Now, it's not to say there's anything wrong with being an employee and a worker. That's, companies need employees, they need workers. But if you're really trying to, make a name for yourself, actually provide some sort of value, actually be something or somebody, then you're going to have to go on socials. You're going to have to document everything and provide value some way.
Yeah, man. And it's not an easy task, you know. It's something that it's
It's no.
easy to say and something way harder to do, you know. Like
Oh my.
we were just diving into it a little bit before we even started this podcast about like it's such a challenge, like way harder than we thought to just put that phone in front of your face and then be like, hey, what's going on, everybody? Like, I'm doing, you know, this is
Oh
what I'm
yeah.
doing today. Like, it's so difficult, and you don't think it is because you see other people do it. You watch them. I mean, God, while I watch people do it hours on hours a day, and
Oh
like,
yeah.
it's like you're like, oh, damn, I wish I could do that, and like, you don't like, oh, it can't be that hard, but yet you're not doing it. But then when you try to do it, you're like, holy shit, this is not what I thought it was. Like,
Yeah.
and like I don't know about for you, but for me, for instance, like with festivals and stuff that I go do, hikes and
Mm-hmm.
festivals, that's the main thing I like to do. And like I went out and my big plan was, all right, I'm gonna start vlogging this trip when I go to Vegas. I'm gonna start vlogging this trip to Vegas. And then I got to Vegas and I was doing a little bit, right? Doing a little bit. But like it was just like halfway through, I'm like, man, I don't think I'm like even remotely close to like getting the content I need and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And not in a bad way, but just me realizing like this is a little bit harder than I thought. Like this is,
Yeah.
I'm glad I'm doing it because this is like my
Mm-hmm.
practice run. You know, I'm getting the reps in to make it better. But like, damn, I was like the whole trip, I was like, this is a lot more difficult than I thought.
Oh
Like,
yeah. It. I was the same way. Like I was like, oh my God, is this what I really sound like? Like, are people gonna like this? Like I usually what happens when people first start out in socials, I'm sure you can relate to it, is we try to overdo it, you know, like we try to make it super fancy, add all these visuals, add all these effects, these thumbnails, blah blah blah. And really, if anything, it should just be you just gotta spam the internet, right? Because that's what's also going to get you comfortable is the fact that you're putting out so many videos on a, like for instance, like my goal, you know, TikTok is I want to make 3 TikToks a day. You know, some people are like, "Why make 3 TikToks a week?" I'm like, "That's great. My goal is 3 a day." You know,
mhm.
and that's my goal was when I originally started, and that is what my goal is right now. Because when I originally started, it was going to force me to be in front of that camera. It was going to force me to put out content. It was going to force me to get comfortable, and that's the kind of the beauty of TikTok is that it doesn't have to be super clean and posh like YouTube, right? You got to make it all, you know, pretty and edited. TikTok, you can literally bust something out, 15 seconds, do a dance. Like I'll do a dancing challenge, or I'll do like one of those sound challenges, and that's it. So it can be really, really quick, you know. And usually that's the stuff that pops off. So that's why, if you know, I don't know if you're on TikTok, I would highly recommend you get on it. Maybe use clips from your stuff, but the growth you can get there is unreal. So for instance, like I started back in like April, right? I'm just going to show you. I started like back in April, and I was just posting here and there, not doing too much. You know, I gained 1,000 follow. Usually they say the hardest is to gain your first 1,000, and then your 10,000, your first 10,000, your first 100,000. So it took me a while to get 1,000. Once I get to 1,000, I probably got to 10K in like less than half the time, and now like I'm at 33K. You know, and I hit 33K like I think I hit 30K in like I think 2 weeks.
I'll
That
say
was a fast.
last week
Yeah,
I saw you at 24, so I know you got
yeah.
an extra 6 right
It's
there. I was saying
it's
last week when we
blow.
talked, you were at 24. Yeah.
It is just blowing up because I had one video. It went viral. It got like over 1 million views, 100,000 likes, and it was a minute long video. And it wasn't anything fancy. I kept it simple. I just did a fancy edit with my hand, and that was it. You know. But
Yeah.
that's the thing is,
Yeah.
yeah.
I
But
told you, I was like, hey, you just showed
yeah,
up on my For You page, like just out of the
yeah.
blue. I was like, yo,
But
bro,
But
it's
when you
working.
saw that, yeah, when you saw that, probably that video, that TikTok, I probably posted like a week before, so it took time to get traction.
Still.
And again, you know, TikTok is a whole spiel. We can go into it. It's very unpredictable, but that's kind of the beauty of it is that you could literally make a random video, right? And that's why kind of it's a love hate because there's times I put in so much work into a video and it gets no traction, only a couple hundred views, a couple hundred likes, and then I do some trend or I do something I think is funny and it just blows up. So that's where it's kind of the love hate. It's like, well, damn, I don't even want to put in that much effort, but then I do also want to provide something. So that's why I kind of mix it up. I do one that's like really specific, you know, dialed in. The other one I'm just messing around. But yeah, if TikTok is still, and a lot of people are like, oh, it's too late. TikTok's so big. It is not too late. Like if I got in and I'm at 30, like trust me, it is not too late. Like there's something that you are going to be able to provide for somebody out there that you know other people aren't, and people are going to flock to it. Simple as that.
Very, very good way of putting it. Yeah, I appreciate you talking about it. I mean, TikTok for me is something that's like the next challenge. Like I said, I'm trying to get in front of the camera more, get used to it. And it's something I'm not used to
Yeah.
yet. And I am used to it in this sense. For some reason, like this is normal to me. Like podcast, I'm like, we got this. I ain't worried about nothing. And I can have guests on, have a great, hour-long talk. I can go on someone else's podcast, have a great talk. I love it. I love doing this. But something about that like minute short film, I'm like, oh, I don't know what I'm gonna do. So and like you said, but it's important. I'm glad I had John today because it's like you're just like, hey, just keep putting stuff out, just do it, just put it
do
out
it.
there. It's gonna happen, and it's encouraging because that's where I'm like, oh, is it?
But as a creator, like it's hard like when you're putting stuff out and it's getting no traction. It's hard to like stay with it because you're like, man, like I already made 10 videos, 20 videos, 50 videos. I'm getting a little more views, but like it's not. And that's usually when like you're at that break point, like you're just so close, like it's like one more thing, and then boom, it hits mainstream, and then you get that influx. And the thing is that why you don't want to be like limiting yourself in terms of putting it out, because when that one video goes viral, remember, people aren't going to stay just for that one video. They're going to want to see what else you have. So you have to have all that other content. So they, oh wow, he also does this. Why he talks about this. So that's usually in terms of YouTube, that's what will get you the following. TikToks as well, is that it's people make that mistake. They went viral and that's it. They'll never post again. That's when you got to go even more ham, because you got to provide people with more stuff to keep them locked in and engaged to then come back to your page and check out any new updates that you have.
Yeah, no, it's a solid technique.
Yeah.
And if you can grow on one platform, you then have the availability to direct people to other ones or grow on another form. Like it's definitely beneficial to grow on TikTok or any one platform. Do you see YouTube launched their shorts?
Oh, I didn't see that yet. I'm actually, because I have your YouTube page pulled up, but I didn't see that they was it like you could post stories on it, or
No, they've launched their own version of shorts. It's minute-long videos at the max that you can start doing. I don't know. I got an email about it last week as a creator, so I don't.
Okay.
It's fairly new. I know they also started a YouTube Shorts fund as well, though. I got that email today. So they're putting $100 million into the fund, and it can go to any creator of any size, doesn't matter, and it's all based on metrics of your video. So you can have one subscriber, one video that does really good, and you can hit that mark and make up to. It's anywhere between. I think they said the low end it's $100 you can make, and the high end it's $10,000 you can make a month.
Jesus.
So that's what they're advertising now. It's crazy. That's all. I mean, it's all going that way. You could kind of you could sense that when TikTok just blew up out of nowhere. You noticed Instagram then brought out Reels, out of the blue, right? They had that whole, kind of out of the blue. They had that whole thing where we're going to ban you from the country, and then wait, looks like we've got a competitor out of nowhere.
Yeah.
And now, YouTube's just launched theirs. It's going to be interesting. I'm curious to see. It's
it adds more of like it just gives people YouTubers another option to put stuff out there. Like for instance, when Instagram came out with Reels, and some people were like, oh, that's it, TikTok's over. TikTok's not over, because TikTok was the first, right? Like, well, really Vine was the first, and then Vine went under, TikTok came out, and they just made it better, more stuff, or more features. So TikTok is here to stay. Like there's not going to be anything that replaces TikTok as far as I see right now, because of what they're doing and what they can offer. And just like I said, the soul out TikTok is like the best one for organic growth. It's the best. It's because you can, like I said, you can get thousands and thousands of followers instantaneously overnight with minimal effort. And then obviously as you get better, like obviously, I'm starting to get better. I have a video editing team. I can start getting those, I'm sure you've seen those TikToks where like, well, this is a high quality one, like that's edited in Adobe. So, once you've built a big enough following and you're really going, in depth on it and going full time in TikTok, then that's where you are going to need to have, a higher level quality content. But I mean, my buddy's got like 300K and he still puts out just regular TikToks, so
wild.
Yeah, I would, and you're doing podcasts, I would put snippets of your podcast on TikTok. You could do like 15 seconds, like somebody just busting out laughing, like somebody, or like a minute where somebody goes in depth. Like I see a lot of that stuff on TikTok.
Yeah, and I've noticed that just from scoring on my own, and like I said, I've finally. It's hard to explain. I don't want to give myself excuses. I hate giving excuses, but I moved. I also was working these just ridiculous hours with the job I was doing
Yeah.
before, and it was just like I'd come home from work and just be exhausted. Like I would just go home and go to bed. Like I
Yeah.
was just maintaining what I had started, and I
Yeah.
hadn't really had the time until now. Finally, I feel great. Last 3 weeks, I'm like, I got time again. I got time on my hands. I'm ready to fucking
Yeah.
go. And like I said, I started hammering out the YouTube, started hammering some of these other things. So I'm excited. I'm getting there. I'm moving to it.
Yeah, man. So,
Going, but
and time is a good thing to bring up. I mean, it's, excuses and all this, like it's hard to overcome those things, but it's like you have to do it. Like it's not gonna happen, otherwise. So whether it's, like I'll have a planner written out, or I follow a pretty strict regimen. Like, I got like, okay, I know I'm waking up at 5. I know I'm at the door by 5:15, 5:20. I know I'm at the office by this time. I know when I get to the office, I'm doing this, this, and this. I know I'm having my workout. After my workout, shower. Boom, I'm doing this amount of calls and doing this amount. So in terms of time, like I would just schedule your day to the hour. Just schedule every aspect of it. And you'd actually be surprised how much time you could find, and then how much you can actually fit in. Because sometimes even, dedicating 30 minutes to something is more than enough if you're just strictly focused on that. Like if I dedicate 30 minutes to TikTok, I could probably make like 5 TikToks in 30 minutes. Just draft them. That's what's cool, because I can draft them, edit them later, go into the bathroom, go into whatever. Or getting lunch, whatever it is, I can just edit them. So there's definitely ways around it. It's hard though. That's, and like my goal right now is like I want to start reading a lot more, because I'm so much on the computer, I'm so much on the phone and TikTok. I don't want to lose like that. I also got to slow myself down, because it's like you're being so exposed to just so much content, so much like the high frequency, that there's times I find myself, I'm like, dude, I'm cracked out right now. Like I am cracked out for no reason at 9 p.m. Like I gotta like slow down. So
they gotta be able to
I
get those
burn.
hours of sleep in,
Yeah, and there's times I burned out. Like I burned out here before, because I was just doing so many calls. I was going so hard. I was doing everything just to the max, that I literally started losing my voice from talking so much. Like I literally started losing my voice because I was talking so freaking much. So I had to like, and Alex and me is like, bro, like you are going too hard right now. Just slow down. Take the day. Just chill out, whatever it is. And yeah, so it's a balance. It's a, as Jocko says, it's a dichotomy. There's two sides to it.
Jocko Willing.
Yeah, man. I'm
Great
reading his
guy.
book. Yeah, man. I'm reading his book. I got it. Got it right here. Boom. This is what I'm like leading my team and stuff. So extreme ownership, and then
Dream ownership.
yeah, my buddy's reading The Dichotomy of Leadership, which is a good one. Discipline equals freedom. He's more of a David Goggins guy, so me and him like butt heads. He's like David Goggins,
another animal,
yeah,
bro.
yeah. Well, my buddy Dro, he freaking runs to work. He lives like 5 miles away, and he runs here every day. I'm like, you're crazy, dude.
That is absolutely what I'm trying to pull up my book that I'm currently.
Yeah. So, yeah, but you need some savages around here. So,
I got 2 I'm reading. I got Matthew McConaughey, Green Lights. I'm enjoying that
yep.
one a little bit.
hmm
And then I got Dan Carnegie, How to Win and Influence People.
That's a good book.
One recommended
Yeah.
this to me, so I was like, all right, I'll give it a go.
But the thing is, like, I've known you since high school. Like that one it's gonna teach you a lot of stuff that it's gonna be a common sense. You're like, oh, like why wouldn't you ask how someone's day is going? Why would you not, ask it? So it's not that it's a bad book. It's more like I would say for people that really have social anxiety or communication skills. But I've known you since high school, so I know how you communicate. So it's gonna be a good read. You're just gonna be like, oh, like a lot of this stuff I already kind of do or know about.
It's funny you say that. The first chapter was interesting, but it was like you said, there was a lot of stuff I was like, okay, yeah, I get that. But then it also brought in the point of like when the first chapter was about like yourself, like in your mind, and how so you immediately can like assume things, and you'll immediately look at someone and be like, really? Like, and it was kind of like, and that's something I don't know where I went off that path off, but like I was kind of doing that. And with the first chapter, it was like bringing that to your attention of like, catch yourself first. Like, this is how we're going to do the whole book. First off, you need to catch yourself when you're not doing these things. And then we're going to go into like how you can go to do, how you'll talk to other people and yada, yada. So I don't know. The first chapter I thought was great. I'm only on chapter 2, and I kind of bounce back between those 2 books just because I like them. So
for sure, man.
Yeah. And Green Lights is cool. I like the way it's like portrayed. It's just small stories and memoirs and with a brief lesson at the end. So I don't know. I like it, but
yeah, I mean, I'm trying to get really into reading, try to be like a library at my house. So like start with the bookshelf, have like a freaking wall full of books. So knowledge is power. It's true. It's true, kids. Read up.
One of my favorite like podcasts ever was with Joe Rogan and Naval Ravikant. And you know who Naval Ravikant is?
I don't know.
I'll send you the podcast after. I don't remember what episode it is. I think it's like episode number 1330 something. I'll pull it up. I have it saved. It's one of my favorite. But they talk about reading books, and they were both talking about how like they read to where they're satisfied, like very interesting. Like they don't read the full book. They just read until they're like, all right, this is good. Like I've got enough. And then they stop, and then they might pick it up again. Like they were saying how like, yeah, I read like maybe 1 or 2 books at a time, and like I just kind of read. I read things, I jot things down, and then I just if I feel satisfied, I just stop.
Yeah.
It's interesting. I've like never thought of it that way.
Yeah, I've heard of like, speed reading and stuff, and that's actually a good point. The satisfaction thing, because a lot of people, they get caught up in like these self-improvement books and like, how to increase your productivity, how to do this and that. But the problem is that unless you literally follow, like when you do one of those books, like those self-improvement books, you literally have to follow it to the T. It can't be half-assed. Like it can't be like, oh, okay, like I know I recommended this, but I'm like the point of that book is because it's a challenge for however long they say, whether it's like for a week, for 30 days, 2 months, I don't know. But you have to strictly follow it and implement everything they're, suggesting and portraying to you, because otherwise it definitely will not work. You're supposed to give it that, unbiased, treat it like a scientist, as Alex says, like treat it as a scientist, treat it as an experiment. You're going to follow it to the T and then see if it actually worked. So that's why a lot of those people, they'll buy one of those books and they won't see results because they don't follow it to the T. So if you do, get us out, like follow that thing to the T. Give, go all in, and then if it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. At least you tried.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with that. It's interesting. Yeah, self-help books they're interesting. There's some of them are good. I'm not gonna lie. One of the ones that I've heard was really good was like Atomic Habits. I don't know if you've heard of that one.
Yeah, I have. We actually have it in our library. That's probably the next book I'm gonna read.
Yeah, I've heard very good things about that. It kind of like breaks things down to the molecular level of why we form these bad habits and how to break them, how to keep good ones, all that type of stuff.
Yeah,
it's really interesting.
Yeah, and with the habits, like a lot of the times, it's like, a lot of the times it's like not even breaking them; it's unlearning them. Like a lot of, it's something like, even like just anything in life. Seems like, oh, I got to stop doing this. Like it's not that you really have to stop doing it. It's like you just have to unlearn it and how to do it like a better way. Obviously there's things you should quit, like maybe like smoking cigarettes, I don't know, doing drugs, people have their vices, but yeah, so people fall into this, just to name a few. But yes, I actually fell into that trap. And same thing, it was like where people were saying like, oh, I gotta cut this person off, or I gotta cut this thing off. Sometimes it's not about even cutting those things off, it's just like limiting, right? So whether it's like, the easy one to bring up, parents, right? Like, oh, why are you doing this? Why are you doing that? And people are like, I got to cut my parents off. Sometimes, like I said, you don't have to cut your parents off. You just have to maybe limit the negative energy that you receive from them and just approach it a different way. So same thing with habits. Sometimes it's just like unlearning a certain thing that you have.
That's a valid point with parents. That's a tough one too. That's a big point you brought up there. I mean,
I had that, bro.
Dude, how many people do we probably know ourselves where they are just don't get along with their parents? I mean, I know some that get along super well with their parents. It's unbelievable. I'm like, how? I don't understand. I just can't relate. And nothing against my parents. I love them to death. But like you're saying, like there are times where I'm like, okay, I just need a little break. I need a little break. Break. And then I notice our relationships are a lot better in that sense. Like you're saying, we have better conversation. We are always laughing more, stuff like that. And it's never like we're at each other's throats. Not like we're ever laughing, but you know what I mean?
Yeah. And usually they just they want what's best for us, right? Nobody wants to see their kids, fail and, not have anything and be miserable, and a lot of times it's just out of fear and love, and you got to try to see it that way, that route.
Absolutely. I agree.
And then obviously if you bring it up with that way and it's still kind of, you're getting that pushback, then that's where the limitation comes in, showing them, look, sometimes they actually have to see it so they can believe it. That was my case. Like I had a whole gig set up in Texas, I had everything, I had the job, the apartment, all that, everything was just, hey man, just show up, execute, you'll be fine, and then this came up. And I was like, and they're like, well, why are you dropping all this? You just got out there. Everything is set up. Like you can be here in a couple of years, and it's very, very safe, and you're gonna get all this and that. I was like, look, it sounds great. Don't get me wrong, but I really want to try this. Like I'm having a calling for this. And look, if it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out, right? I can, go do something else or whatever it is. And, because with my background, them coming from, the Soviet Union or former Soviet Union, they grew up where it was like, they don't know, if they're going to have food in the grocery store, and they don't know if they're going to have that job. So they kind of grew up under like a fear type of generation. A lot of fear was instilled. So it was very, safe for them was the thing to do.
Absolutely.
Versus in our generation, in our times, safe is not the route you want to go. You actually want to go with risk because you're going to get the most reward. Versus when you come from repression, you go for risk, you're dead. Like you're going against the grain. Versus here, your risk is encouraged. If anything, risk is safe now in our lifetime in the U.S. You're rewarded for going for things that are risky business
with calculated risk, of course.
Yeah, and sometimes there's blind risk. Obviously, you never want to be like, well, I'm just going to do it, just do it. Well, there's a calculated, but obviously, there's things that we do that's calculated, and there's things that we do that's blind risk, and this works, and this works, and this doesn't work, and that doesn't work. But
definitely agree. I one of my favorite quotes though is the universe rewards calculated risk, and I don't know why that speaks to me, because I think it does. I think when you start like it is easy to just take the jump, right? It's not always easy to take the jump. My mistake, but if you can like be proactive and what your goal is and you're being proactive, and then when that moment comes where it's presented to you, then you have that, I would call that a calculated risk, because you've progressively worked up to that point, versus it just like, hey, let's do this right now, like type of thing.
Yeah,
smacking in the face. I don't know, it's interesting. I'm not sure, what's your take on that?
well, I was never really a risky person. Like I was like, yep, just get the job, get the house and all that, and then COVID happens. That kind of opened my eyes up, because think about a lot of people that thought they had a safe job and their job was gone.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And then COVID really definitely, it split it in half. It's like, okay, who are going to be the people that are going to adapt to this and figure it out and come up with a solution, or you're going to be the person that, well, I lost my job and I'm going to blame it on this and then that. So that definitely was a big eye-opening experience, which I know was for a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
And then the fact that I saw somebody else take a risk, a calculated risk, and well, they kind of actually had no option. Right? They had to take the risk, because if they didn't, they were going to stay where they were. And if they took the risk, they at least put them in the position to come out, right, prevail on top, or maybe prevail at a later time. So
yeah, but I'm going to stop you just for a second, because like you see, that is calculated, because they've realized they're thinking about it, and they go,
yeah,
I have nothing to lose. I might as well make this chance. That is a calculated risk. Absolutely.
Yeah, exactly. So then seeing the fact that it actually worked out, right? They failed along the way. There's things that they risked on and it failed, but they kept at it, and boom, they found the one that actually worked out. So calculated risk doesn't always have to be super specific. It can be like, hey, I have literally nothing to lose, or if I don't do this, I am literally going to end up here. So I have to make this risk. So
that what did it for you was the pandemic that made you into more of someone that's willing to take on some risk. Is that what it was?
Yeah, like I said, it opened my eyes up to it, but then I started, when I spent more time around Alex, and I literally could physically see it because he's all over the internet, he's presenting it, seeing that it actually works. Now, obviously, on the internet, you're going to see, with most people, you're going to see the good, you're going to see the highlights, but Alex, puts it out raw. He says it how it is. But he makes it very clear. He's like, look, this is going to be hard. This is going to be a big risk, but there's also a big reward, but you're going to be pushed. Like I'm letting you know right now, you're going to be pushed. You're going to be uncomfortable. There's going to be days you're going to want to quit. You're going to question yourself. And that is going to be the key moment. Is that what are you going to do in that moment? Are you going to quit and run away and, go back to what you know? Or are you going to, grind it out because you can do it, like you actually you can physically do it and mentally see yourself doing it, and then come out, on top of it. And I did hit that point, and it was painful. It was not good. I had stuff going with my parents. It was stuff going here. Like it was like that. Am I doing the right thing? Like, should I not have left that job? Should I just go back? Like, trust me, everyone's had those thoughts. And that's where you kind of slow it down. You look at it from the outside view. You look in the longer term, and thankfully I did that instead of checking the emotions per se. Keep those emotions in check, not giving into that.
So what is it about those moments where we have those doubts that come in that lead to better things and stuff? Because like I'll be honest with you, in the last 3 months when I was in the process of moving and working those long days that I had, there were times where I was like, what am I doing with this?
Yeah.
I kept it going, thank God. But like I truthfully, there were times where I was like, I just don't know if I can do a podcast this week. No, I'm doing a podcast this week,
Yeah.
making it happen. But like it did bring about a what am I doing type phase, and it did take some time to get out of your head about like, am I doing this, and then just be like, you know what, no, I'm going to keep hammering, keep knocking away at this, and
Yeah.
eventually that's something I'll say is I've noticed was you can get so caught up in your head about like, am I doing this right, is the future, your future, is this happening, and then you lose track of just doing, and then when you start doing again, kind of starts to clear up. You go, oh, okay, I can
Yeah,
start doing
exactly.
this way, and then I can do it that
Hmm.
way, and pivot. And it's interesting how that works. I just want
Hmm.
to hear your take on it too.
Well, that's why I have the hang in here, right? Pause if you must, but don't stop, right? Because that's just
Ooh, I
like for
like
life in general. Yeah.
it. I like
Because
it.
like, because that's the thing is like, it's something about the brain is that yeah, it's obviously a evolutionary thing and like a biological thing that we're always trying to prepare for the worst case scenario. We're always trying to think of all these situations and all these scenarios of what could happen. And then 99% of the time, it doesn't ever play out like that. And it's not as bad as it seemed, right? Like,
Yeah.
you're like, oh my God, I'm going to get fired. I'm going to get this. And then, okay, you got fired. And then you're like, okay, well, I got fired. And then, okay, it sucks right now, but I'll find a job. So again, and it comes back to a lot of the cliche things we've always been told, like live in the moment, like just stay in the present because it's true. Like nobody knows like what's going to happen tomorrow. Like you could, be driving to work tomorrow, you get T-boned and you're paralyzed. You could not have prepared for that, no matter what you've done,
Yeah.
right? Whether you
No
hit,
way. Bro.
whether you hit snooze on your alarm or whether you woke up way before the sun when nobody's on the road, and there's stuff you just can't prepare for. So that's where you said you just got to bang it out. You got to crank it out. You got to do it. You got to do it. You got to do it. And then it's like you actually do find yourself along the way because those habits and those that perseverance that you had, it actually push it. It's just weird. Like the universe is weird. Like and there's like a very weird correlation with being in uncomfortable situations, not doing what is recommended, where you find yourself to be successful. So it's hard. I'm still learning it. That's why I'm reading books about it because it's something specific like in our genome and in our brain and in the energy out there that when you're in these types of situations, that's when you excel. So I wish I could give you a really good answer, but I'm still trying
No,
to figure
no,
it out.
it's a perfect answer because I think you're right in a sense of like you're still trying to figure it out. I think everyone's trying to figure it out. I don't think there is a right answer or a wrong answer. I think it's
Yeah.
just something that I think you're gonna have those moments throughout your life. Like, I don't think it just stops, right? I don't think you're gonna
Yeah.
have them. Some type of trouble is gonna come again, and you gotta
Hmm.
get back in that state. It's interesting though. Like you said, living in the moment. That makes me think of like I call it like almost the flow state, right? You're just like in this groove.
Yeah.
You go to work, you work out, you eat, you do reading, and then you do some side work. Boom, you go to bed, you do it again. And you're in just like this flow state, right? And you just keep going and going and going. Um, and you're in that state of mind that the outside stuff, right? The things that the doubt, the fear, they can't get in because you're just in that flow. You're just grooving and moving and you can't there's you don't have time to think about the bad things, and then
Hmm.
just next thing you know, things are just propelling upward and upward and upward and upward, and that's how things start taking off. I think
Yeah.
that's what I call it flow state. That's what I
Yeah.
call
No,
it.
I've heard of flow state a lot, and like you said, um, it just starts to take off, and it's like a snowball effect. Like it just starts gradual, and it builds and it builds and it builds. Like for instance, like I really wanted to not really like necessarily take a vacation, but I was like things were going well. Like I didn't feel like I needed to take one. I was like, I'll probably just buzz off this weekend or something. And Alex was like, dude, you got momentum going right now. He's like, if I were you, I would keep this momentum. He's like, trust me, you're gonna know when to take it. You're just, and I was like, you know what, you're right. Like I do have a lot of momentum, and that's why I just went more ham on TikTok, and things obviously um, played out in my favor. So yeah, it's just weird. Life is weird. Like it's like a lot of the stuff that we heard when we were young. We're like, oh, what? No way. Like, oh, that's only for those. And then you start to see it, and you start to see that's actually possible. It's not as like far-fetched, and obviously it's a maturing thing as well. Um, but yeah, like I am freaking light years away from what I was when I graduated. I'll tell you that much. I am light years away. And high school is a funny thing too, because like I never really like, yeah, like pretty much once I graduated, I went off to Colorado, did my school there. Then obviously I came back, went to UCF, stayed in touch with a lot of people, but I was never like, I was always wanting to get out. I was like, I need to get out. I want to see more. I want to do more.
I understand.
Like there's so many freaking people out there. That I just didn't want to be limited. So yeah.
No, you're talking to the right person here. I mean,
Yeah.
I had always wanted to move out since high school, and I didn't do it in college, but I did travel a lot in college. I mean, that's something I did differently than a lot of my
Sure.
friends. I worked.
Yeah, same.
I worked. I mean, I did restaurants and stuff, but I worked, and then I saved up money. I'd go on a lot more trips than my friends, a lot more.
Oh yeah.
I found in college I liked festivals, so I started planning festivals and trips together. So I'm not like just gonna I'm just gonna go away for a festival for 3 days. It's like no. I'm gonna take 5-6 days. I'm gonna go to the festival for 2, maybe 3,
Mm-hmm.
and then I'm gonna go explore the new city, maybe do some national parks around there. Like it's not like I'm not just gonna do one thing. I'm doing everything I can in that area, And yeah, I'm with you there. And then finally got a job capable of moving, got to move out of the state. Now I'm in an area that I actually am growing to really like. I'm super excited about it. And I still have the availability with I have actually more of availability with my new job to travel and do the things I like to do than I did with my old job and where I was.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Same.
this is like, I can't even complain. I mean, for the first 3 months of being up here, they had us working from home and just not because of COVID or anything, just working from home. And then
Yeah.
I'll be honest with you, I took full advantage of that. I worked back in Florida a couple days. I went out to Vegas and I just popped on the laptop and started working there. And like, they don't question you as long as you're getting your work done. So that's obviously
Same.
there. Some
Yeah.
people can't do it at home. Let's be real.
Yeah. I definitely can't. I get too distracted. Because I treat my home as like it's a home. Like, so I'm going to relax, I'm going to chill out, go to bed, whatever. But actually, I'm lucky because like, we have a really good team. We have really good people here. Everyone that works here, we all know each other from one way, like whether it's from, school, college, friend of a friend, we all know each other somehow. And that's what's really cool. So it's not really like an office. It's more of like, we're all friends and we're like now in a professional setting and like we're making money, right? Instead of us just like shooting the shit and messing around, it's like we can do that and make money at the same time.
That's what it gets fun.
It does get fun because like that's what was like literally today we it was like kind of slow, the energy was down, and I was like, yeah, I'm just gonna go live on TikTok. And me and Alex and Johnny, we went live on TikTok for an hour. We're messing around. We're like, doing like, hey, we're doing this giveaway, we're doing this, we're doing that, and it was just fun. Like you could not do that at any other office or workspace because like no, like you got this you got to do, and like I definitely can't complain. I definitely cannot complain. So yeah, I'm happy. Things are going good, and now it's just take advantage of it. Like for instance, Alex today was like, "Yeah, we're going to give you guys a lot of freedom. Like, you take unlimited vacations if you want. However, it's going to be results based and oriented. So if you're not producing, like he's like, I'm going to be swift with that blade. Like I'm going to be cutting people without really much warning or without much. Like we'll give you another trial for a week or two, and that to me was like great. I'm just going to like level up and go harder. Like I'm definitely showing up like at 5 every day. I'm definitely making these late nights. I'm not doing, because to me that's like I just need to go harder. Like I'm glad I have the freedom, but I just want to go harder now because I know there's gonna be people that take this freedom and they're gonna be like, oh, like I can come in later or I can leave earlier or don't feel like coming in today. That's great, and I'm still gonna be here. I'm gonna be cranking it out because it's just the repetitions and consistency at that point. Now again, that's the type of work field that I'm in. I'm in sales. It's very competitive. It's very what you put in is what you get out with your time. Things like editing, social media, you can take that freedom. You can be a lot more lax.
Yeah.
So it definitely correlates and fits into different types of work fields. But
Absolutely.
because I'm a competitive person, so I'm like, I love it. I'm like, all right, let's go, baby. Like we're running this thing. So
yeah, I used to have that in me where I want to do sales, and just within like the last, I don't know what it was, last 2 years, I was like, I value the freedom way more. It's difference of people and nothing against that. Like, I mean, I might come from a family that was all salespeople. I mean, my dad had his own company. Like he I mean, I've seen him where he did the days, he did the long days.
Sure.
Like, I get it.
Oh yeah.
And for me, it was like, okay, what do I value? And it just came down to like, I want the freedom. And I chose, like you said, with social media, it's like, I don't sleep, that it doesn't stop, but I
Yeah.
can do it anywhere, anytime, any place. And that's the beauty of it. And that's what I like about it. And it's nice when you find those things you like, because you get more driven to do them and you're more
Oh yeah.
passionate about it. It makes work less work and more fun.
Exactly.
You're having fun and making money. That's it. That's the key. I think everyone wants that at some point, right?
Yeah, you just have to really work for it. Because all that stuff you see on YouTube, like I'm 25 and I help people, retired now, and they're doing all these trading courses. That shit is all BS. That shit is all BS. They're selling you it was happening in the 1900s. It was happening in the last 100 years. It's happening now. If anything, it's probably worse now because you can fake a lot of stuff, right? A lot of the times, like it's not that hard to go rent a Lambo and to go rent a jet. I've seen it happen actually. I've seen people like they're like, yo, pull up this jet. We're gonna do like all this, shooting for our social media, and they literally have like 4 different outfits to make it look like they were on a jet at a different place at different times of the year. Like, how crazy is that?
Yeah,
But
I've known about there's agencies where there's some
yes,
agencies, believe it or not, that don't even have the private jet. They just have the seats in the window that make it look like you're in a
that
private
is
jet.
crazy.
And you can
That's crazy.
you're in their office, you're in the little office space, you put your nice little outfit on, you sit in the seat, they take a picture of you in this box shaped thing that you can't, besides where the camera is, you can't tell that it's not a
Yeah.
plane. But yeah, I've seen stuff like that too. I have. Yeah, it's crazy. And that's why I think there's so much room that people, not room, but like there's just a need for authenticity. Like, people are just wanting
Oh yeah.
authenticity, and they just want to see like not fake shit anymore.
Exactly. And that's just the time that we live in right now. Everything's on social. So,
Yeah.
Instagram's a highlight reel of everybody's life. You're only going to see the good. No one's going to post the bad.
We're gonna see the good. Yes, sir.
How
it go.
And then obviously, and then if somebody does post the bad, well, they're not really going to look into it that much, or they're still going to find a way to criticize something. So it's hard.
You post that.
Yeah, like it's hard, and it's also, again, it's like a human ego thing. Like, you never want people to see your failures. You never want to see people how you're struggling, right? Because they're going to hold it against you, or they're going to be like, well, this person's a loser, they're this and that, why would I spend time with them, why would I talk to them? It's really funny. Me and my buddy Brandon, one of my buddies, he was talking about the dating world, and he was talking about how pretty much dating, what it's come down to, it's people are just dating around to level up to like the next hierarchy of the partner. So they date this person because they have this kind of appeal to them, or outreach, and then they're also in this type of industry, and they know that this industry has these types of people at a higher level. So it goes deep, man. It just goes like, it's like you're dating just to level up to like whatever it is that you're trying to get to in your life, instead of you're dating because this is your partner. So
Yeah, wild.
it's wild.
And also, like, I mean, like, I can kind of see it where people want to build an empire, they want to build something, and they want to get to that. I just don't think that's the way to do it either. I think it's like, wouldn't it be better to find somebody you can build that up together with? Like, I don't know,
build it with
empire, right? Yeah, I don't know. That's just me. Maybe I'm old school.
It's not being old school. I don't think. I think that's just how it's supposed to be. But we've been bamboozled, per se, into a different way of looking and thinking it. So yeah. I mean, that's why I always look at, like, what are you going to provide for me? Like, what are you bringing to the table? I know I'm going to bring you this, and this. So what am I getting back from you? Like, I'm getting some ass. Great. I can go get that wherever I want. It's not a problem. I can go pay for it, but what are you providing in terms of, like, are you going to actually help me, build an empire? Going to help me build a business? Are you going to help me build some freaking generational wealth where not only you and I don't have to work, but our kids don't have to work, that is a question a lot of people don't want to ask, and a lot of people don't have an answer to that question, or in terms of partners. So yeah, it's heavy, it's deep, but it's the fact of it. It's the fact of it. I'm sorry. Like,
hard truth. Yes, it is.
it is.
I'm with you there, man. Absolutely. I want to build an empire. Are you helping me build the blocks, or are you just getting rolled over? What's going on?
Yeah.
But all right, dude. Let's talk crypto. we've had
Oh
a
boy,
great
I
talk right
know.
now. I'm
Yeah,
loving
we've
it.
been
I'm
fun.
loving it. But I
Crypto,
wanted to have
man.
you on because I saw your TikTok, started seeing you post
Yeah,
on
I
Snap,
appreciate it.
and
I
you're talking
appreciate
about
it.
stocks, you're talking about crypto, and that's shit I like.
Yeah.
I'm not crazy into it, but I like it all,
I
and I
got you, man.
observe it, and I try to read and do what I can when I can. But you're doing a great job at it. You're getting followers on TikTok from it. You're
Thank
going
you.
out there doing data. Let's talk crypto, man. What's going on in the market today?
Yeah. So, well, for instance, like tomorrow we're having what's called an Ethereum hard fork, just to keep it simple and easy
Woo!
to digest. It's just there's gonna be a massive upgrade that a bunch of nerdy developers got together and agreed on, and certain things are gonna happen which are gonna drive the price up in a couple of days, in a couple of weeks, but yeah, basically what you're witnessing right now with crypto is you're witnessing the biggest shift in generational wealth. This is where you can take something, you're basically in an asymmetrical environment. So what that means is that you're having all this massive upside with very little downside. Um, and this is one of the only markets where you could take a couple $100 or a couple thousand and flip it into tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands, in a matter of weeks and months. You're not going to be able to do that in the stock market. It's too big. There's too much out there. There's actually a lot of manipulation that happens in stocks. Even the fact that everything is so visible and on the balance sheet. Trust me, there's a lot of manipulation happens in every market, but yeah, this is just a one time where you could literally go from rags to riches overnight. You really could, and it's still like that for the next couple of years, because obviously as this market grows, it's going to kind of become into what a stock market is. It's going to become very safe, less upswings. It's just called the law of diminishing returns. As more money enters the market, it just takes a lot more money to have, let's say, a percentage gain, right? So from going from 1 to 2, that's 100% increase. But then from 2 to 4 is 100% increase, and 4 to 8, so you're having to have these massive jumps to then have the same percentage increase. So that's why ideally you want to get in now when the market is very small, because you can get these 100% gains very easily and overnight, versus 10 years from now it's going to be a lot tougher because there's a lot more market and it's a lot more safe and stable. But yeah, crypto, just to keep it simple, not too fancy, just look at what's happening in the world, right? Things are going digital, things are going technical. Money is old. It's been around since the Stone Ages, right? We've been trading coins, and basically what money is you're trading your time for labor. That's all that it is, right? And money is just a way to exchange it. So you're buying labor with money. Well, now you're going to be able to buy labor digitally, right? Think about it. You can outsource marketing. You could outsource video editing to somebody out in the Philippines with Fiverr, right? But before you wouldn't be able to do that because the internet wasn't around. Now the internet is around, and now you can make purchases on the internet with internet money without actual physical money that's back to the economy, or back to some sort of commodity that people have control over. So yeah, it's just a way to basically dechain yourself, detach yourself from being not controlled, but just being so dependent on being dependent on a government. Yeah, it gives you freedom.
Yeah.
Or in Bitcoin per se, yeah, it's a way of storing value or money, but it's also a way of getting property, right? Because now Michael Saylor was talking about it in his podcast, was Bitcoin is one of the only properties that anybody can have access to it at any given moment, and you can actually take this property with you anywhere you go. Versus, I can't buy real estate in Texas and take it to Florida. I'm gonna have to sell that real estate and buy some in Texas. But I could take my Bitcoin and I can go to Canada, I could go to Thailand, I could go to Antarctica. It is staying with me. It is personal. It belongs only to me. And then obviously, the longer I hold it, the more appreciates. Very similar to real estate. So, in the Constitution, it says, everybody has the right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Well, now you add Bitcoin to that, and now everybody has a right to property, believe it or not. So
big steps.
It's big steps. Again, it's very, we're still super early. The best way to describe where we are with crypto right now This is the same thing that was happening with the internet bubble in 2000, right? There's one half of the people are saying, oh, the internet's a fad, it's a scam. We're not going to be buying stuff. We're not going to be teaching stuff to people on the internet. Like, it's just going to fall apart. And then the other half are like, no, like, this is the future. We're going to be talking on the internet. We're going to be doing this and that. And then obviously, look what happened. Look at where we are now. So it's the same exact thing with crypto, where, yeah, like, it is the future. It is going to happen. There's going to be a lot of pushback, a lot of regulations. This is how it goes when there's a new emerging market.
Yes.
Now, the one caveat that a lot of people have to understand is that it's not going to overtake stocks. It's not going to overtake anything. It's going to complement. It's just going to be another market that you're able to invest your money into, invest your hard-earned dollar bills, whatever it is. But there's not going to be anything that is tied to that market or anything controlling them. It's going to be a truly, truly free market. And that is what is the biggest appeal to a lot of people, is that it doesn't care who or what you are, where you come from. The only thing it matters about is this thing legitimate? Is this thing safe? Is it does it have value? And then from there, the price goes up. So
yeah,
and it's completely open and transparent. Like, you can go in and track trades that people that have hundreds of millions of dollars in the market are making. So very transparent.
are you using, when you do yours, if you so do feel like telling, do you use like a app? Do you use an actual wallet online?
Yeah.
Like,
So
what is it that you're using? Because I know there's so many different out there. There's
Yeah,
so
there
many
is.
different out there.
So I do, obviously, your big boy apps, like, I have like all of my apps on my phone, but I do your Coinbase, your crypto.com. Yeah, I just do Coinbase and stuff like that, just because it's super easy. Anybody can have it. If you are getting into crypto, do not start buying crypto on like those stock platforms, like your Robinhood, your Webull, and stuff like that, and PayPal,
Yeah.
because you don't actually own the physical crypto. You own like a contract of it, which is very, very weird. But basically, a good rule to follow is, if it's not your wallet in crypto, because that's where you stole, it's not your crypto. So definitely get on a specific app. Like I said, Coinbase is good. Voyager, go ahead.
Let's go into that just a little bit, because that's something I personally learned maybe 6 months ago. I mean, like,
Yeah.
it's something that I think a lot of people don't know about. So let's go dive into that real quick about the like crypto wallet fact, and explain that maybe a little bit more to people, because you probably can put it in better terms than I can. But I know I was learning about it.
Exactly. So basically, all a crypto wallet is, it's it's just a secure place to store your crypto, right? Instead of having, and you can actually have physical wallets that plug into your computer. It's called a cold wallet. We'll go over that later, but it's just a way of actually storing your crypto, right? But it's on a wallet, and only you can have access to it. There's a thing called the seed phrase that you have to write down. So it's 3 random words that you don't memorize it. You better write it down on pen and paper, because let's say you forget your password, or you need to back up your wallet. And if you have crypto in there, if you don't have your password handy, you're not going to get in. Now you can restore your wallet, and then they're gonna ask for these 12 words that you should have written down, and you can restore it. But it's just a way to store your crypto, as well as with a lot of wallets, you can send your crypto to and from the wallet. So there's 2 things also called like a public and a private address. So the private address is the stuff I talked about, the 12 words you have to write down. So for instance, oh my God, where is my book? There is, phrases that you have to write down. So I have like a handy, comp book that I have that has all of my stuff securely stored away. And then the public address is everything that everybody can see in the world, right? No, they can't hack into it, because you use your public address to receive crypto. So if you're like, hey, Marty, I want to send you, $50 worth of Bitcoin, I'd be like, great, here's my public address. You'd copy that address, put it into your wallet, right? And you say, hey, I'm sending $50 to this address of my Bitcoin, and boom, it's sent, and that's it. And then what's cool is you can actually track it, right? You can actually go on a lot of these websites and see, because like I said, it's open source. You can actually see, okay, what time did it get sent? How much of it did it get sent? Did it get delivered? So it's that full transparency aspect of it, which is also really, really, really nice, versus, if you were to send money across the world with Western Union or a wire transfer, well, you're paying a super, super high fee, right? And it's going to take days usually to get there. And then you got to convert it to another currency, which is another, fee that you pay. Here, I could send money to somebody in the Philippines, right? And they have it pretty much within a couple of minutes, no fees besides me just sending it, which is sometimes little to no, couple of nickels or dimes, whatever it is, and there's no exchange of currency. You can exchange cryptos to another crypto, but that's pretty much free. So yeah,
that's the main draw to it, right? That's the whole the pie. Everyone can see everything. That's what people like about it, the
Yeah.
transparency behind it. There's no
Mhm.
way anyone can really get away with things. The ledger won't
Ye-
allow it in a sense.
Yeah, like it had a bad rep when it first started because it was kind of used for the wrong implications. Was used in the dark web to make all these purchases, right? Because you couldn't stop once it got sent. That's it. It got sent.
Yeah,
And
right.
then but what Bitcoin and crypto was founded on originally was it was for the good. It was like we want to give access to everybody in the world and not have any restrictions or limitations. Now, obviously, there's countries that limit it and restrict it, and there's loopholes around it. The thing is people are like, oh, well, crypto's going to fail. For crypto to fail, literally the whole entire internet, the world wide web has to go down. Like that's just a fact. Because as long as there's somebody with access to a computer and connects to the internet, you're going to be able to, access your crypto some way or another. So there's always news coming out, regulations and all that. That's perfectly okay. That's normal. Like I said, obviously, is it good news? Not really, but it actually brings more validity and more use case to a lot of everything in the cryptocurrency world, because since there's so much pushback, there's obviously something that this market provides that a lot of people are not comfortable with yet, right? Because they don't have control over it. They can't control how much Ethereum I buy or how much or how much Dogecoin I buy. They can't have control over that, and they can't control how much money I make off of it. So that's why there's a lot of regulate. They're going to say, well, it's to prevent hacks and scams. It's not for that. The government doesn't care if we get hacked or scammed. They care about because they're missing out on a lot of money, so that's where they're trying to tax us.
100%. 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, I understand that. Is there ever any concern of governments and stuff coming in and stepping in when the prices might get to a certain level? Is there any concern in that area?
Well, not really, because they can't really control the price action, right? How high it's going to go. The only concern is going to be obviously taxes, right? How are they going to tax you on it? And right now it's just short-term and capital gains tax. I don't know if they can tax it another way. And then what kind of exchanges and platforms you can access. So for instance, like right now, Binance.com is banned in the US, but there's Binance.us. So they could limit you in that. They could limit your availability to access all the cryptos, right, or access all the coins out there. But like I said, for them to really ban, I know China has banned Bitcoin, right? But they're also communist regimes. They can do that. So yeah, in terms of the U.S., again, the U.S. is money hungry. We like money.
Yeah, no doubt.
The Feds like money. So again, 2017, you're seeing a lot of these institutions and banks saying, "Oh no, Bitcoin's a scam. It's going to fall. It's going to topple this and that." And now this bull run, you're seeing all of them buy it, put it on their balance sheet, right? So it's kind of like a boy who cried wolf, but then now they're starting to see the actual use case and application of it and the money making opportunity, so they're getting into it. But yeah, I think what's going to happen is we are going to reach a really big crossroads and a really big fork in the road. And that's where you're going to have your make or break. Like, okay, are we going to, just shut up and start adopting it and get with it? Or are we going to really start to have to press against this and really try to shut it down? And personally, I think if they do try to really start to, shut it down and be against it, they're going to start to see a lot more people go into the adoption of crypto, because people are going to start to see the banks are really, why are they really trying to shut it down? Like, why?
Yeah, 100%.
And a lot of people now are starting to leave a lot of banks. They're not holding their money there. I mean, look at inflation. Inflation is up like over 6% for the year. So if you've just been holding money right now, like you're losing money just by holding it in a bank, versus, like I said, if we were talking about earlier, where the safe thing right now is risk, calculated risk. So you should be exposing your money to some sort of market, whether it's crypto, whether it's stocks, real estate, anything. You got to be putting your money where at least it's working. Because again, COVID messed everything up. It just messed everything up.
Yeah.
And a lot of people are like, well, the government's going to save us. They're not going to save you. They want you to think that, but they're not going to save you, because again, there's too many people that they would have to save. But how is this money going to get paid back? That money is, we keep printing it, sure, but the inflation is going to keep going up. You're going to end up like Venezuela. So it's a fine line. It's a very fine line, but again, that's me going on a spiel and a rant there. But
no, spiels and rants are welcome.
Let's
talk about a little bit about inflation real quick, because obviously, like you just said, it's rising. I mean, I think there was a stat out that if you basically what is it now? Your dollar's worth about 99 cents, right? I think there was a stat somewhere out there. I can't remember where I read it, but
Yeah.
with that being said, what does that entail for crypto? Because I've heard things where, that's a dollar loses value, crypto is going to gain value.
Yeah.
What is
So
that? How? What's the truth behind that? Because I've heard that. I have no idea why, but I'm just curious.
yeah. So basically what Bitcoin is right now is the digital gold. It's a hedge against inflation because the dollar, for instance, what is backing the dollar right now, right? Like back in the 80s, we were on the gold standard. Nixon took us off of it. Ever since then, the dollar hasn't been back to anything. Really, what it's been back to is the strength of the US military and the perseverance of the American economy. That's the only thing
Right.
it's been back to because no one's going to bet against America in a war or the economy. So that's great and all, but the thing is we can print dollars whenever we want, right? So for instance, COVID happened. What do? Well, we're just going to print $3 trillion. Well, what does that do to supply? You're inflating the supply. There's more supply out there, so it reduces the value of the dollar.
Yes.
Versus crypto. Bitcoin, for instance, there is a finite supply. There will never be more than this supply ever. It doesn't matter what's happening in the world. Doesn't matter what kind of technology happens. There's only going to be this much. So it's just basic economics, supply and demand. As supply reduces, the demand increases, which further increases the price. So that's where a lot of the appeal is in cryptos, because a lot of tokens or a lot of coins, they have a fixed supply, whether it's going to be 21 million coins, whether it's going to be a billion coins. There's going to be a fixed supply, so people know, okay, if once all these get bought up, well, the price is going to, you're going to be able to trade the crypto, but the price is going to go up because they're going to say, hey, there's no more coins out there. I'm the only one with one Bitcoin. You want it? You're going to have to pay this much. So that is the appeal to it, as well as the fact that it's back to something, right? So whether it's back to a number of coins that are out there, it's back to some sort of project that's out there. So Ethereum, for instance, a lot of people like it and are predicting it to really overtake Bitcoin probably this bull market, is because Ethereum is the gas of the internet, right? Ethereum is used for everything, whether it's building a website, whether it's building some sort of app, whether it's running some sort of program. Ethereum is building use because it's the building block for it, and it's very, very scalable, and it's very, very easy to use and to understand. So that is the appeal of Ethereum, is because it actually has a lot of use case that no matter what happens in this world, Ethereum will always be around and it can be upgraded. So again, a lot of people flock to crypto because, again, it's a hedge against inflation. They actually know what they're putting their money into. They know what it's being exposed to, and they know that, hey, there's not going to be more than this amount of coins out there, and that is it. So obviously, the more I buy of these at a low price, the longer I hold on to them, the more my investment is only going to appreciate. It's not going to depreciate.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm big on Ethereum. I like it.
Yeah.
I don't know why. Like, I think the reason I liked it personally, not even you went into the fundamentals of it. I mean, it's the building blocks, right? And that's more than I probably even knew. But I like the idea just because I think it's the most practical one, and at an affordable price. For the majority of people, in a sense.
Mm-hmm.
And you can obviously, you probably know there's way more than just Ethereum, obviously. But in my head, like, everyone knows Bitcoin, everyone knows Ethereum. Everyone knows those names, and it's much harder for the average person to purchase a full Bitcoin than it is to buy a full Ethereum. So it's like, and not saying that they don't have intrinsic value for you if you did spend 2,000 into Bitcoin versus 2,000 to Ethereum. I think people can argue that all day. But if, like, someone wanted to hold the physical asset and hey, I have one, the Ethereums are a way to go, in my opinion.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right, and it's got a lot more growth in the short term. So, like, for Bitcoin to double right now from 40K to 80K, that's a 2x, right? But people are like, well, that's a big price jump. That's only a 2x, right? ETH can go to potentially 10K by the end of this year, and it's right now at 2K, so that's a 5x increase. But also, you don't have to necessarily buy a whole Bitcoin or ETH to be exposed. That's what's cool with cryptos. You can buy, I have 0.1 Bitcoin or I have 0.5 ETH, whatever it is, and you're making money on that, right? However much money you put in, you put 5K into Bitcoin, and let's say it was 0.5 back in the day, and then Bitcoin, goes and does a 4x. Well, you just made, five. You just turned five. Yeah. Exactly. You made five. You turned 5K into 20K. Yeah. Versus in stocks, you can't really do that. You can't. There's like fractional shares you can buy, but that's really BS. But you actually.
Why is it BS? Just curious.
Well, because a lot of the stocks you're going to get fractional shares into, they're going to be worth they're usually
$300
like
already.
or like a fraction of like Amazon or Google, which is like $2,000 or $3,000, which again, you're exposed to that company, but those companies don't move a lot, right? They move like 4 or 5% maybe a month, maybe that's like a really good month for them. Here, Bitcoin just did 40% in the last week, so being exposed to like 0.5 of a Bitcoin, it does 40% is way more valuable than being exposed to half of an Amazon share and it does only 8% in a month, whatever it is, that is why it's just, I get the appeal to like, oh, I'm exposed to Amazon. That's great, but why are you exposed to it? Are you exposed to it just because you want to expose, or are you exposed because you want to make money?
Yeah,
if you're going to make money,
no risk.
Yeah,
type of investment. I get what you're saying.
Yeah, and I mean, Bitcoin is the large cap stock. I mean, you could treat it as a large cap stock because it's market cap.
I meant Amazon when I said that. I apologize.
Yeah,
I don't know if I was.
You're fine. But Bitcoin is, I mean, it's almost when it was at a 50K or 60K per price point, it was over $1 trillion in market cap. That puts it up there with Apple.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah,
and Amazon.
It's like
and that still moves way more in a much more aggressive and volatile aspect compared to those coins or to those stocks. So I had my whole rabbit hole with stocks and options, and I still do. Like I still like to follow them, but it's just seeing the money making opportunity in crypto is just night and day. This does not compare.
And I heard a statistic where the crypto market moves 4 times as fast as the stock market. Is that?
Yeah, I would probably put it more.
Correct? Okay.
Yeah. Well, like look at what happened in May. In May, we took a 50% hit in like a matter of 2 weeks. In 2 weeks, the market just dumped 50%. Like, that's it. If that happened in stocks, I mean, well, you have like all of these levels where like they literally closed the market, right, to let it cool down a bit before more of us. It happened during COVID. Mm-hmm. We hit like the second level. I was looking at one of Graham Stephan's videos, and he does a good job. Does like basic finance and investing, but yeah, it's considered a bear crash or a market crash when the stock market dips like 40%. In crypto, that's like very normal. Like, it is not out of it. That's like 40%. Okay, it's a big hit, but it's like normal. Like when you get to like the 60-70%, that's when it's like, okay, that shit just kind of hit the fan there. Yeah. But yeah, it is not unusual to go 50% in 2 weeks. And that's where you really start to kind of weed out the people just casually investing to people that are serious, because there are people that are casually investing, they run for the hills. Like, oh no, I just lost half my portfolio overnight. I can't do this. It's too stressful. I can't, because again, that's crypto. It's volatile. Versus we've been through this, we know this, and it's going to keep on happening until we grow a lot more in size. So yeah.
No, absolutely. If you were to suggest to somebody that's new, and they've like got, okay, hey Marty, I've got $100.
Yeah.
What's a one smaller known crypto that you would suggest?
If you only had $100 and you do this, I would either do like a Cardano, or I would do like a Polygon Matic, or maybe
Matic. I'm on the Matic fan train.
Mm-hmm. As well. Matic is awesome. Or something where you're going to be, now obviously you don't want to go into shitcoin. If you can, it's a high risk. You could do high risk, the ones that are like 0.00000 whatever. But yeah, I would do Cardano or Matic, or if I did a third one, I like XLM, Stellar Lumen, a lot. Mm-hmm. It just needs some time to grow, because they're gonna when the Coinbase card comes out, you're going to be getting like 4% return when you make purchases with in Stellar Lumen, which is awesome. So I would be looking into coins where you could get the most bang for your $100, right? You're going to be getting either one coin for every dollar that you spend, or if not, 2 for every dollar that you spend. Expose yourself to those types of coins, but not shit coins, not your not your dog coins, not those coins. Because even again, those are the ones that could flip your 100 into 1,000, but you got to be very, very
lucky.
You just have to be lucky on top of that trade, and then just ready to move, because those things just pump and dump like crazy. So
my funny story with Doge is I had 32,000. I bought it like 0.02 cents. It's like, why not? Yeah. Right. Mm-hmm. Throw like $200 and see what happens. And it got up to 10 cents, and I was like, I'm selling. I made $3,200. I was like, heck yeah. Like, because I was like, again, like what we just said, it's a shit coin. Like, it's a shit coin. I was like,
not anymore. I mean, it's got use case apparently now.
But at the time, I was like,
yeah,
take my profit.
There's a meme coin.
and get out. And then oh my God, dude, I was like cracking. I mean, I was also like,
Oh yeah,
fuck. And I was also just laughing my ass off. Like, you know what? I got
hear you,
out,
man.
but like, who would have fucking known? No one. I'm sorry.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And yeah, and obviously Elon being on Twitter and all that, and promoting it and shilling it. Yeah.
I don't think anyone ever saw it hitting 70 cents.
Oh God, no.
No, that's what I'm saying.
When
like,
it hit 70, I was like, this thing's gonna hit $1, and then obviously it didn't. But that's how it goes. Like the first step is like 10, then it's like 25, 50 cents. After 50, it's like it's gonna hit $1. It probably will hit $1 at some point. Maybe later on this year.
briefly,
Who knows?
but
Yeah.
yeah.
But I wouldn't count it out as dead. There's probably a lot of people that are buying it right now still. So for the long term hold, So, power of the internet, man. Power of the internet.
The internet is powerful.
Just me money.
We've been doing about an hour 15, man. This has been awesome. I'm loving it. I got one more question for you. I've been asking almost all my guests. I ask all my guests this now.
Yeah, man.
It has to pertain to the podcast, and it's how are you living yourself for every day?
How am I living myself for every day?
So broad an answer. Ain't no wrong, right or wrong, but
ain't no right or wrong. So again, it's still a work in progress. It's a habit that I'm trying to learn, and some habits I'm trying to unlearn. But how I'm trying to live for myself is literally is to do the things that have either scared me or do the things that I didn't think maybe I was going to be capable of doing in that moment, right? Or in that time when I was thinking about it, and just give it a shot, right? Like I said, it comes back to that principle we were talking about. I don't know if the podcast has started by then or not, but we're gonna die. We're gonna die one day. Simple as that. And am I really gonna be worried about what I had posted, what I had, said, how I had reacted, how I had the outlook, what had happened? Is that really gonna matter on that bed, right? And if the 99% of the times the answer is no, right? So I do it, and then just keep on trying new things, keep on evolving, never staying stagnant, never staying stale. Whether it's educating, whether it's traveling, visiting a new place, whether it's learning a new skill, a new hobby, even if it's something that I'm like, oh, I would never see myself doing it, being like putting checking the ego and still going in, right? Trying it, even if it's a recommendation, even if it's something small to something very big, taking it and actually doing it 100%. And then trying to spread a lot of value, trying to spread a lot of information out there, not just keeping it to myself, being egotistical again, or just saying, oh, I want all the abundance, I want all the gains. Like, hey, there's plenty of it out there, I'm going to share it. I really do like teaching and educating people, helping them understand why this is a better choice, or why this is the better option, or why this is something you want to watch out for, because it's nice to know that like you actually had an impact and you could have changed somebody's outcome, as to where they headed out, especially in trading, right? The last thing you want to do is see somebody lose hundreds of thousands of dollars that could have been avoided by just one simple fix or one simple trick.
Absolutely.
So yeah, that's why TikTok, it's obviously to brand myself, but also just to kind of spread that knowledge, because I do try to keep it basic and simple, because I know it can be very, scary, crypto and all that. So I just try to keep it like, if I was talking to a friend and like, hey, this is what's going to happen, and this is what it means. And yeah, just, enjoying the life and making it a memory, like making all the experiences, looking back, like, damn, like that was a roller coaster, but I'm so glad that roller coaster happened, because it set me up for this, right? If this didn't happen, I would not have been able to handle what just happened in my life now. Right. And if this happened, then when this happens later on in my life, I know I'm going to be ready for it, whatever it is.
Making risks, challenging yourselves, and going with the flow is what I'm hearing. And it's a perfect answer, man. It's a perfect answer. There is no right or wrong answer. It's something I just like to ask guests. The theme of the podcast is live yourself for every day. And I love having people on that do all these different things. I get to talk to them. I get to hear their experiences, how they got into it, how they think. And it's the beauty of this podcast I love. And I'm so happy I got to have you on, dude. I'm so happy we connected.
I know.
Just talking about crypto and stuff. And I was like, you know what, man, you got to come on, just because I just knew this would be awesome. Have a great time.
I'm glad you freaking, you saw one of my Snapchat posts about crypto, and I'm glad it caught your eye, whatever it is I was saying and doing. And, here we are. So it's awesome, man. Life,
because you're doing similar, you're doing your job and you're also making your socials, which is something I'm trying to do. And that's why you caught my eye. And I said to you from the beginning, keep doing what you're doing. I would text you when I saw your things show up on my For You page, because you know why? That's so important to know. Was it, I mean, not like, I'm not trying to toot my own horn here, but like, wasn't it important? Wasn't it nice to know, like, oh my God,
it is,
on my For You page. Like,
it is.
what I'm
Yes,
doing is working, right?
yes,
like,
exactly.
That's something it's vital. You need people in your group that are there and saying, hey, I see you doing these things and you're doing a great job. Keep going, because you never know. And especially as a creator, and keep it quick because we're at like an hour 20, but like as a creator, you do have days where you're like, what am I doing with my content?
Yeah. Or you just don't want to do it. You're like, oh my God, the last thing I want to do is make a TikTok right now. Like,
yeah. And someone says something nice about what your work that you're doing, and it's just the motivation to maybe get you through the day, through the week, through, whatever it might be. So yeah. But anyways, this was awesome. We had an hour 20 minutes.
Oh, it was awesome. I loved it, man.
I hope to have you on again. We'll talk a little bit, maybe
For
more
sure,
stocks and stuff.
For sure.
It was awesome, Marty. I wish you the best. You look like you're doing great. You're thriving out there. I love it.
Thank you, man.
So
thank you. But I'm trying, man. Yeah, I mean, look, I did, and this is one thing I got to get better at, is obviously staying in touch with people. I didn't even know you were doing a podcast, right? I know you were in South Carolina, but I know you're doing a podcast. I know you're doing digital marketing and all this. So that's one thing that I obviously have to get better at, is, while I'm so caught up in my stuff, also check in with everybody else. Like, hey man, how you doing? How's life? No way you're doing a podcast, dude. Like, let's get this podcast going. Or you're doing marketing, man. I got somebody you can market for, whatever it is.
Hey, it's hard to do all that, so I don't knock
it.
It
is.
and I also wasn't telling anyone from back home that I've been doing this podcast. So those who found out on their own will, and now they listen.
Yeah.
But I never told anybody I was doing it, really. So
man.
3 people I told. So it happens. I ain't gonna hold that against you. But now we'll keep in touch. Now we'll watch each other's content. And anyways, say goodbye to the people.
All right, guys. Take it easy.